literally. I'm recording it anyway. But can you believe it? I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's press record. So I was looking for a red button, which is on my usual StreamYard when you press record. And the red button on Zoom means
leave. I literally had to laugh, really. I was like, let's do it. Ta-da! Out.
We've got to leave this in. For everyone that is watching at home, we're just going to go straight into this. For everyone who is watching at home, we have had the worst time trying to get on Zoom today. I don't know what's happening, but the world has not been on our side. So welcome, Jeff, finally.
Hi.
Hopefully you're not going anywhere and you stay just there. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to basically hope that we manage to make it through. So we're doing the cosmic weather of March, and I think there's shit going down, to be honest, with the cosmic weather. That's what you're here to talk about. And you came on last month as well. We're going to do every month this year, which I'm excited for because I love your readings. So tell us a little bit about, since last time we did the cosmic weather, what's been happening for you before we go into today's show.
Oof. I mean, I guess no one can answer this question in a very straightforward way right now.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we know what's going on in the world. We cannot ignore it. Our bodies cannot ignore it. So it's pretty serious. But at the same time, if we look back, we kind of know that humanity has been through really tough things. And again, looking back, we know two things. One is that some of those breakdowns, shakedowns were really necessary to change the world order, to change the humanity, to change our values, to change the way we live. And the second good news is that we actually survived. We went out of it stronger. We went out of it renewed, refreshed, and I believe much better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed on that one. Some of us unfortunately didn't survive. So for those, anybody who's lost anybody, we're not pushing that to one side. We're saying if we're still here, we're making it through and we're doing the best that we can. So it's a tricky time for all. It is so crazy in the world right now, but a lot of it does make sense if you look at it astrologically, and also if you look at it from another kind of alternative news perspective. A lot of things are actually coming out that are making a lot of sense, although disturbing, and we don't necessarily want these things to be true. However, they very much are, and it's very obvious now to see that there's other things at play. There's other things going on, and we just have to now, I think that there's never been a better time for social sovereignty, to make sure that you're doing the right things for you with other people, that you're fully respectful of everything, and that you are, really showing up in a way that's authentic. The world is full of crap right now, so to do you and to be as authentic as possible, I think is the best thing. So you have obviously a lovely kind of lineup for us and a chart at the end of it as well. So let's get straight into it. What is the cosmic weather for March?
Right. And as you mentioned, is that a lot of things are coming together. And I want to start with the Pisces, the energy of Pisces, because right now we are in the season of Pisces. So the sun is in Pisces and a lot of other planets is there as well. We have Mercury just moving into Pisces on the 9th of March. We have Neptune that is moving really slowly through Pisces for many years, so we'll be there until 2026. And we also have Jupiter in Pisces. And so let me unpack it a little bit, because that's a lot. And that's a lot of, first of all, Piscean energy as such. So what it is all about, Pisces energy in a very, let's say, healthy and a very strong expression, it is our connection with the divine. It's a very spiritual energy. It's the energy which is allowing us to expand our consciousness, to tap into even another source, or to build this relationship with something which is larger than us. It's not only our rational mind or, hustling and bustling. It's really understanding that there is something bigger than us. Following your intuition, following the flow, trusting the unknown, because there is a lot of unknown in the world right now, and having faith that whatever we're going through is not in vain, and you will get out on the other side refreshed and renewed. Okay, and so it's basically a very interesting energy, because it creates the possibility for us to trust and flow, because the energy of Pisces, that's the energy of the ocean. right? An ocean, as we know, is never, it's not always calm. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it has the storms, and we're going through those storms. It's just a question of, will this wave, crash on us, or will we be crashed on the shore, or will we learn how to surf with it? And so the energy of Pisces is also the time for us to become kinder, to exercise much more compassion towards each other, and to also be united. And I think that's exactly what we see in the world right now. We feel so connected to each other like never before. And unfortunately, again, sometimes we have to really see the darkness in order to understand where the light. And I see this time as, on one hand, a huge possibility for us all to reconsider what truly matters, to reconsider what we are grateful for, and what kind of values do we would like to choose and reinforce in our society for the future. And of course, again, the change of the values is not happening so lightly, right? There should be a really big pressure on ourselves to see what is actually feeding our souls, to see what is helpful, to see what we're truly grateful for. On the negative side, this Pisces energy can lead to escapism. We can be super sensitive towards what is happening. We can feel a lot. So there is a lot of feels in the energy, in the atmosphere, right? We can feel overwhelmed by everything that is happening, and willing to even escape this reality, because reality right now looks really harsh. So we are like, what can I use to anchor myself? What can I use as security measure? And so this anchoring can be, as we were talking, it can be either your spiritual practices, understanding that there is something higher and bigger that is leading our way, and also being united with each other, supporting each other in different ways. Again, that can be in very different ways. It's not necessarily doing and being on the forefront, Of course, there are a lot of people who are supporting, and this is beautiful. But I also have a lot of clients who are overwhelmed right now exactly because they feel helpless. And let's remember that even, keeping calm and sharing it with people around you, sharing your kindness with the people around you, providing them your emotional support, I think that's already a big thing to do at this time.
Yeah, it's good, because it's when you said, like, supporting one another. A lot of people are supporting trying to support Ukrainians at the moment. They're trying to support people on the other side of the world that they haven't necessarily met, but there's so many people at home that you need to support too. The people that are closer to you, the connections that you've had for a long time, that are deep, that are meaningful. It's not about online justification and support of people, because you don't agree with something. I would say definitely start looking closer to home in terms of support. How are you supporting yourself? How are you supporting other people that you know and love? Have you reached out to the people in your phone book and said, hey, are you okay? I've not seen you online, or I've not seen you for a while. Because those immediate connections that we have, I think, are really important for us, because we can help one another. But I think a lot of people, they switch off online and they're like, oh, I just can't deal with the world. When actually that's not really the world. That's a very small slice of the world. It's like, it's where everybody shouts out at things. But when you switch off from online, there's a whole other world. There's a whole other real connection with other friends that you've got as well. So I'd love people to listen to what you're saying, but think supporting is supporting yourself first and foremost, and then supporting people who are actually in your life, that are walking around beside you, that you can touch and feel. I think that would be a good direction with this energy to go into.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. And then, of course, unpacking it a little bit more on the level of the planets. As I mentioned, Mercury moved into Pisces on the 9th of March. And that means that our thinking will not be as sharp anymore. Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces. It's in detriment. It's in fall. It's in the worst position, so to say. So our thinking is not very linear anymore. Our thinking is not very sharp. Things that require focus will probably require more time. But at the same time, think about the goodies that it brings. And the goodies here are, again, kinder words, kinder thoughts, artistic pursuits. Our minds are very artistic right now. They think they may dream right now, they may imagine right now, they may imagine how it would be if it would be differently, how it would be if we would adhere to new values, if we would choose differently, if we would all choose peace instead of, you know, power and greed. So a lot of those things will really assist all of us to go through this time easier and smoother. Okay. Then we also have Jupiter and Neptune, and I think I was already mentioning it last time, the first time that we met, that we are slowly moving towards April 13, where Jupiter and Neptune will meet. Okay, and so that is a conjunction that will be felt not only during the April 13, it will be felt, it's already felt, but April will be the biggest one, the biggest in terms of amplification of those energies.
I get nervous when you're saying it. I'm like, what's going to go on in the world now? But yeah.
Yeah, we need some good news. We need some hope. We need some faith that there is something up there that is directing us, that is guiding us, that is seeing not only the dark side, but also the bright side. And it's a little bit like remembering that it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah, that for sure. I've been a victim of that darkness many times, and the dark night of the soul. And I think Becky was, because we were chatting to Becky, love to Becky, who's been watching us, Becky Fletcher. Becky was saying, you know, recently, it has been so hard for everyone she's been speaking to. Everyone's really feeling it right now. And the same for me. You know, everyone that I'm speaking to is going through it in some way. And, you know, I have food poisoning, then we've had other people that have had COVID, or they've got bank problems, they've finance problems, they've got relationship problems. Everywhere we look, there's some kind of issue going on in someone's life, regardless of star sign, regardless of you know, our astrological patterns. And it's now looking, it's like, how do we collectively come together and see that and say, right, everyone's going through it, we're all on a kind of even keel. Some have it a little bit harder than others at the moment, but it's all relative. And it's, how do we support one another for this time? So you're saying in April the 13th, is that right? April. So this, I heard Pam Gregory talk about this as well. So there's something quite big. And is it positive news, or is it an amplification of what's happening that will take us into our darkest hour? Or how exactly do you see that? I know you're not telling the future, but in terms of the stars, how do you see it?
In terms of the stars, absolutely. Let me take a step back, let's say, and see the bigger picture, right? And the bigger picture is, for me, to start looking at what Pluto is doing, because Pluto is the furthest planet from the Earth, and it's the most potent, it's the most influential, because it rules the evolution of the soul, it rules our deepest transformations. And so Pluto has been traversing Capricorn since 2008, and it will move the signs in 2004. So we're kind of already at the end of the very long but very painful process. What is Capricorn about? Capricorn, in the very unhealthy, let's say, way, is about outdated structures, rigidity, authority, you know, structures which are so outdated, so rigid that they are not providing any flexibility anymore, any refresh anymore, any possibility to breathe anymore. It's all about control, time, boundaries, hierarchies, you know, structures which are hard to, you know, even change somehow. And Pluto, in its, again, very negative connotation, is about power. It is about abuse of power. It is about the who is in charge here. It is about abuse in all possible ways. And so we are now going through a process, especially since January 2020, when Pluto and Saturn met together. We're going through the process where we see crumbling of those old systems which were too rigid to survive. And of course, it's really hard to almost, you know, expect that these kind of structures with power, with hierarchy, which were built for years, that they can be, you know, changed overnight. this is not happening. And that's why for quite a few years now, we can see this huge fight and huge tension between control, freedom, old, new, not collective, but autocracies and individual. And so it is this struggle, and it is the fight which will take time, which will take its own turn, because sometimes one party is stronger, sometimes another party is stronger. But what I'm leading to is that, first of all, it's a process. It's still a process until 2024, when those structures are being crumbled, are being challenged, are being, shown, but also shown its darkness, shown where the power is abused, where the autocracies are taking too much space and place right here. But it's not only about the world. It's also, I believe personally, that our leaders, they reflect, all of us, but just on a much bigger scale. It's because they are so much on the stage and they have so much power that they think that they are not, limited by anything. They just amplify all the darkness that sits in all of us, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Go on, I'll cut in.
just to finish one thought, is that every single one of us has the darkness within. And, there is just a difference between one person may destroy a country, but another person will probably be able to destroy, a few people around in their own family. So this is an invitation for all of us to look within and to see how do we change ourselves, the way we use power, the way we can be very rigid, strict, and unemotional, and basically become better.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important for people to see. And we're not here, Jev's not sat here saying, you've got the potential to ruin a country. What we're saying is that, we are, inside of us is a reflection of everything that's going on outside of us. This is the nature of our reality. This is the physics. We can get into the quantum physics, the micro and the macro. We are a small piece of the whole. And if you just think about how you feel on the inside of yourself, and you feel how terrible you feel right now, and how upset you feel, or how stressed you are, or how overwhelmed you are, or how suicidal you feel, or how much you're trying to escape yourself. What's on the inside is being reflected on the outside, but en masse. So the more of us that feel that on the inside, the more chaos we create on the outside. And we may not be directly the people that are causing that externally. We're not in Russia, we're making decisions right now. We're not in the US making government decisions right now. But we do make choices daily that don't serve ourselves and that don't serve the greater good of the planet either. So if there's something you need to do and you're not doing it, you're just putting your head in the sand and you're avoiding it, and you're not responding to friends, or you're not being the person that you should be at work, or you're, coming out of things and being like, with no integrity, put that en masse. Our no integrity in those small moments that we take, that happens with all of us on a large scale. We have no integrity in our governments and in the power that that is running the world right now. So that's where you can see that even though you might not be destroying a country, you might be destroying yourself. You might be destroying a family. You might be destroying a relationship. You might be destroying a friendship. So on the small to the large, there's a connection. There's a direct, correct connection between that. And I think it's really important for us. Now is the time of personal responsibility and sovereignty and integrity. And if you don't have personal responsibility for everything that shows up, and for the integrity around that as well, that's where we can get into the judging and the blaming of others, and we go into this victim stage where really we don't have to be victims of our current environment. We can stand in power, but it means that we have to make choices in the awkward moments and really, take responsibility for ourselves. So getting your astrology done, for example, might seem like a woo-woo thing, but actually you're getting some guidance on what you can actually do and the steps you can actually take to make your life better on the micro. And then on the macro, you're making a change to the whole. And I really feel it's important for people to understand that, like, there's no better way to get to know yourself other than with astrology, and looking at where your planets align and what's happening for you, so you can make those daily changes, so we can all live a better life. You're not just doing it for yourself, you're actually doing it for everyone when you take that fifth direction inwards. So I wanted to cut in with that, but thank you very much, Jeff. Back to you.
I love it, because that's a beautiful bridge into my next session or section, talking about the Aquarius energies. That is a very big portion of the energies up in the sky right now as well, because we have Saturn in Aquarius and Mars and Venus just crossed over in Aquarius. And Aquarius, apart from being about society, about who is our tribe, who is our support circle, it's also about individuality. It's also about how do we express ourselves? How can we be quirky? How can we be different, unique? How are we not shy to share our hobbies or our views or our alternative, healing modalities and so on. So there is a lot of focus, let's say, on this area of the energy for a few reasons as well. Saturn in Aquarius is asking us to take responsibility. Saturn is always asking to take responsibility for society. What kind of society we want to live in? Are we willing to live in a society we observe right now, or are we willing to change it? And if we're willing to change it, how? What is your unique, quirky, maybe, or alternative, or maybe different talent, which you right now can contribute into this world, right? So this is the big question for every single one of us to consider. And then another piece is with the Mars and Venus just crossing over in Aquarius conjunct, that is a very positive unfoldment. And thinking about the Venus being the archetype of our feminine energies, and Mars being the archetype of our masculine energies, being conjunct and traveling together, that first of all speaks about the alignment of those energies within ourselves. And regardless of the gender, of course, we have these energies within ourselves, every single one of us. The question is only whether those energies are aligned or not, and what is the proportion, because sometimes we can be, too much in our masculine, too much in our doing and bustling and competing and arguing, and not knowing how to slow down, not knowing how to surrender, not knowing how to trust, not knowing where the self-worth is, and a lot of those different small but very important aspects. Or the other way around, we may be so much in our feminine and not knowing how to be in a healthy masculine, how to stand up for oneself, how to set the boundaries, how to say no. So a lot of those interesting, this is the dance of those energies. And so since it is in Aquarius right now, first of all, it asks for alignment, to be really balanced within oneself, to be really whole, to feel a whole within oneself, and therefore to stand your ground, to stand in a very stable way. And another part is, of course, being interested in astrology or numerology or human design or any of those tools which are able to bring into consciousness your unconscious. Something that is leading your life without your awareness. And I can see it is just right now, it's a massive boom. Everyone is interested. I'm getting more and more clients, more and more inquiries, and especially from people who were really far from this area before. They're like,
yeah, they were like, absolutely not. And now they're like, oh my God, I need this in my life.
Exactly. They're like, I know nothing about it, but right now I'm open.
Yeah. Do you know, I think that says a lot, because there's quite a lot of people that I've spoken to that, I've got massive faith in God, and I have a real strong faith in that there's good things happening on the planet. And I don't talk about it much, but occasionally when I'm on my calls and stuff. But the more people now are asking me about spirituality, they're asking me about my faith in God, they're asking me about astrology, they're asking me about human design and all these things, all of which I'm not an expert in. As I'm trying to be an expert in myself, to know myself as much as possible, but that's never going to know all of myself. That's the ever unfolding story of life. But the idea of people now realizing that they can't rely on society, they can't rely on the fixtures that they once had, they can't rely on the governments, they can't rely on the decisions that our leaders are making, they can't rely on other people most of the time, because other people are also flopping around them in many ways. So when everything else around you flops and there is nothing else for you to hold on to, where do you go? What do you do? Where do you look? So they're going to start looking in other places that once before were like, oh, I don't need that shit, it's not interesting. Now they're like, oh my God, that could be my life raft. And always it's about living a better life, being a better person, being a kinder person, and, you know, facing things that you know have always troubled you. So it's not about being spiritual or woo-woo. It's about going, there may be another way. And astrology, there's a science to it, you know, it's a whole language and a science that when you come to understand it, myself not included yet, but when you come to understand it as much as like you do, or for yourself, it's a map out of like a place that seems like we're literally in a labyrinth right now. We need as many maps as we can get to help us to get to that space that we're looking for. So I think what, you know, what people are doing now is jumping onto the nearest thing that looks like it might save them, being astrology or, you know, human design. But to get to know yourself, is it Socrates? No, not Socrates. I can't remember who it was that said it, but know thyself is the famous, whoever famous person said that. But that's all we're here to do, is to know ourselves in a greater capacity.
True, true, true. And it's a big honor as well to be here at this time, to be able to guide and support people, especially during the times of distress, especially in the times of uncertainty. And it feels like we were prepared for this time as well. But going a little bit further, in March, we're going to have the full moon in Virgo on the 18th of March. And for me, it's something like a reality check. It's a little bit like discernment, because we were just talking about this, you know, potent energies of Pisces, which may take us, you know, either in dreaming or in creativity or in escapism tendencies or in the overwhelm. But at the same time, this moon in Virgo, it's very grounded. It's the earth energy. It's very discerning. It's very much in the details. And so what it can provide us with, it can provide us with this grounding that says, okay, you had a few ideas, how you can help, how you can change, how you can contribute into this new world reality. What is real? What would you like to take forward? Push aside anything that is the fantasies, focus on what you can do. Focus on what, even if it's really small seed, focus on this one, because it can grow.
Nice. That's my voice. That's my, you're saying, I know what mine is. Mine is my voice. Using my voice more in powerful ways. That's what I can take forward.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is that. And then afterwards, on the 20th of March, we are moving into the season of Aries. And here I would like to mention as well that the Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, right? So right now we're actually going through a huge process of endings, completions, graduations, and on a personal level, I think many of us feel that there are things which are leaving right now. You may feel energetically a little bit easier. You're like, okay, I've closed this chapter. I forgave this person. I've let go of this karmic loop. It doesn't bother me anymore. It doesn't feel like pain anymore. It's just, it goes. And the energies of Pisces are exactly here for this reason. They are helping to dissolve things. They are helping us to let go of what we have been working on really hard. And to say, okay, now I've learned my lesson, I've chosen differently, I've, you know, put my ducks in a row, now I'm ready for the new. And so on the 20th of March, we are celebrating, maybe we can say so, but meeting the new astrological year, right? So it's the Aries season, it's the new spark, it's the new kind of spiral that we are starting, the new cycle. And that will come with the fire, because Aries is the fire energy. And we didn't have fire up in the sky since Sagittarius season, which is pretty much November, December. That's why it also felt, since November, it felt really heavy. It felt really, oh, like, you know, almost like you had to push yourself to do something, almost like you had to apply a double effort in order to do a task which would take you like 5 minutes, you know, in November, back in November or October. So that is because we didn't have fire, we didn't have planets in the fire signs, maybe sometimes occasionally the moons, but it's not a lot, right? And so as of 20th of March, we have this cosmic boost. We have this rocket that says, okay, now that you dreamt whatever you were dreaming of, now that you have dissolved whatever you had to dissolve and work on, now where will you put this energy? Where will you apply it? Because all the planets are direct. We are literally building the new world. We're literally building our dreams, our visions, whatever we came to understand what is important for us now, we're building it. And so, yeah, the question is, what are you building? Where are you channeling your energy? Where will you apply this rocket boost?
Nice. I think that there's plenty of places that we need to channel energy into at the moment that look a little bit depleted.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're out there with some great ideas, get knuckled down, think about them first and then put them out, because I think we need them. We need all the ideas we can get right now.
Absolutely. But also make sure that you channel this energy right. Because Aries, apart from being a pioneer, a leader, a person who can inspire others to go where no one has gone before, a person who can be very ambitious, energetic, spontaneous, enthusiastic. At the same time, Aries energy can be impatient. There can be temper, anger. It's basically the energy which is ruled by Mars. So keep this in mind and think, where do you apply this energy? How do you channel it in the correct way? And where, how to avoid the temper, how to avoid being impatient? How can you really channel it in sports, for example, or physical movement, or projects, or inspiring people, or changing this world for the better?
No, I like it, because there's somebody said to me the other day, if you've always been active, stay still. If you're always still, get active. And it was just like, oh, it's so simple, but it's that, like, making sure that we can actually meet this energy in the right way, and how we meet it, because a lot of people are really impatient right now, and they're like, we need to get this done now, or like they get angry because it's not being done. But there's so much work to do inside that we need to do first, that we need to clear out the way in order to make that path a little bit clearer for us. It's, essentially what I do with all of my work is kind of getting into the awkwardness and the integrity and clearing out what doesn't work. And it's now, I commend people right now who are giving up drugs and alcohol through this time, because most people want to turn more to drugs and alcohol. When I gave them up many years ago, the world was screwed, but it wasn't the way it is now. So if anybody's going through that clearing and that, trying to find their feet in this world, and I commend you on being able to do that, because it doesn't look like there's many great options, like, oh, what's the point in giving up? But we have to clear the ground running, because there's a lot we can build, but it needs to be from a solid foundation. And I love doing these talks with you, because it gives me inspiration, it gives me insight. And I just think, yes, if I can put this out, all of this is me talking to you and listening and then putting it out on my YouTube. But I want to share this message because so many people need support right now.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. And also to remind, and I probably will be reminding every month that we're meeting, that currently the South Node is in Scorpio and the North Node is in Taurus. That means that we're unlearning drama. We're unlearning misusing power. We're unlearning or letting go or closing the doors in our life on any type of abuse, any type of power misuse, any type of feeling powerless, any type of, whether be it relationships or anything in our lives that make us feel powerless or make us feel as if we cannot trust or need to defend ourselves. So we're closing the doors and we're opening the doors towards the Taurus energies. And this is calm, peace, connection with the nature, giving yourself simple pleasures. All right, and simple pleasures, okay, maybe for some it is a glass of wine, but it's more about the pleasure rather than the escapism and running away.
Escaping. It's not. If you're drinking to escape, it's for the wrong reasons. If you're drinking to enjoy, and to make light of that glass of wine with your steak or whatever it is, then great, it's the pleasure. But if there's an escapism because you're like, oh, I can't be arsed with my day, or like, oh, I just want to forget about it. Whenever you say that, you're drinking whatever you want to forget about. You're drinking it in, you're taking it in, you're drinking more of it, you're creating more problems. You're not actually relieving any stress when you do that. So yeah, it's important to know the difference between the two.
Absolutely. And surprisingly, our mind sometimes is so stuck in the fixed ways that it fails to see other options. You know, sometimes getting a massage is 5 times better than a glass of wine, because it's the you know, a pleasure, giving pleasure to your body, taking care of your body, taking care of your energy, giving yourself, you know, the touch and the health, and there are so many options. Just kind of try to see what other options are to create some more peace, some more connection with the nature, some more embodiment practices. Very important. And that's exactly what we are all learning and practicing throughout these 1.5 years.
Beautiful. What else have you got for us? Are we kind of got anything like highlights in terms of other dates that we can get really excited about? Is there anything good that we're like, yes, I need that in my life? Or are we just winging it at the moment?
I would say the main ones are the full moon in Virgo on the 18th of March, right? So try to really ground in and think about, discern at this point of time. What's real, what's not? What is the fantasy and what's the reality? How can you not escape from this world, but also see what is helpful for your health and for your healing? Because Virgo rules health and healing. Virgo also rules service to society. The question is, how are you doing this? What are your unique strengths? What are your unique talents? Are you, you know, there are different ideas that every person can do. Then the next checkpoint is, of course, the beginning of the Aries season. Right, that's on the 20th of March, and right after, one day after, on the 21st of March, is the spring equinox. And that is the halfway point between the winter and summer solstice. And this is always a very potent day in terms of energies, in terms of connecting with the other realities. So check in with this, check in with your intuition. You can really pimp up your psychic gifts at this point, right? Nice. So really, if you can connect with the earth, do some rituals if you're into the rituals, this is a really, really potent day.
I'm going to put that in my diary because I didn't know. 21st of March, spring equinox.
Do that. And then on the 1st of April, we have the new moon in Aries with this cosmic boost of all those fiery energies. So at that time, of course, think about, what are you ready to achieve? What new path are you ready to go forward? How are you ready to inspire people? And then, of course, we are slowly moving towards the conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune on the 13th of April. These would be the biggest highlights for me.
Amazing. And you've got a chart as well, didn't you? So last time we did, last time we did this show, you spoke about people sending in their birth details, and I think someone sent that in, right? Is that right?
I've got quite a few inquiries. So thanks a lot to everyone who sent in the charts. And I would actually keep this option open. So again, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you have some kind of a block in your life, send your birth details to my email, hello@evolutionwithjeff.com. and just describe what the problem is about. And then if you're lucky, then you will see your chart on the screen. So let me share the screen and let's talk about that quickly. So if you can see my screen, if you can see the chart, this is a blind chart of a lovely woman named Rochelle. And Rochelle sent me her details with a description of what the blockage is about. And Rochelle is working in National Health Services, and she would like to move into holistic health, but there are some blocks which are holding her back. And on top of that, she feels tired, overworked, and maybe also burdened with some of the social issues. Okay. And so what I can say in how many minutes we have. I will try to really provide a little summary. First of all, I really can see why you have chosen health as a let's say area of your activity. You have your 5th house and 6th house and the house 7 and 8. So many, let's say, houses which are potent with the planets and points. And I will also provide the insight from the evolutionary astrology perspective. What we believe is that there is no external solution to an internal problem. Okay, so the question is not when you are moving into a different sphere, but what will help you moving there easier, smoother, and without the old issues. Okay, and so we are the mixture of different energies. We're the mixture of different behavioral patterns, beliefs, maybe traumas, or something that is within ourselves, and that is attracting some situations in our lives or some blocks. Okay, and so what I can see is that, for example, you have chosen your, let's say, vocation. First of all, you really like working with people. Okay, you have a lot of energy in Libra. You have Mars in Libra in the 4th house that is definitely willing to take care of people, willing to nurture people. You have Cancer ascendant that is also this archetype of a mother wanting to take care, to nurture, to provide for. You have Saturn and Pluto in Libra, that is the taking responsibility for other people, really being in relationship with them. And this is your Pluto is in the 5th house. So basically what you have chosen for your life to do as a vocation, it's basically your art. It's your creativity. It's the way you express yourself, right? At the same time, where we have Pluto, it means the hard work. It means this is where our deepest security needs are sitting. This is where our security, like our deepest fears are sitting. And so with this Pluto in the 5th house and in Libra, there can be quite a few unconscious behavioral patterns which are playing in. For example, being in Libra, there might be a lot of people pleasing, trying to adjust yourself for other people, to conform with other people's expectations or social norms, or be nice for other people, and basically forgetting oneself, right? So being a little bit of this chameleon for others and not so strongly rooted in yourself. With Pluto being in the 5th house, there might be unconscious craving for recognition, craving for praise, craving for attention, for love, and so on. And so typically people with the signature, they are pouring a lot, they're giving a lot to others, they are very generous from the heart, but they also expect a lot back. Right? And that is a little bit of the emotional manipulation, right? We cannot give and then expect that this will come back to us. We don't know what will come back to us, right? So here it is again, it's important to understand that sometimes what we expect from other people will not come our way, and to feel this internal void of expecting recognition, expecting attention and praise, we should first feel and provide it within ourselves, to ourselves, okay? And that will again bring you in the state of balance, not overpouring and not expecting and not be angry if it's not coming, okay? Then your South Node is in Capricorn in the 7th house. So that suggests to me that your soul has been in many lifetimes in engaging in relationships from the position of duty, position of responsibility. I have to be in these relationships. I have to, be practical, be responsible, and especially Capricorn is about duty, responsibility, but also can be a little bit rigid, can be a little bit, unemotional. At the same time, where we have the South Node, it means that we tend to overdo this energy. And overdoing Capricorn means over responsibility, overburdening, taking too much on your shoulders, being, willing to be in control way too much than you even should. So that leads you towards the situation of being burnout, stressed, overburdened, tired, not getting, recognition, which you probably want to get, and it's not coming, and being still or thinking that you are responsible for other people, responsible for what is going on. So that overall, this package suggests to me that your soul has been during many lifetimes involved in different relationships, be it at work, be it at home, be it in, your social environment, out of this responsibility, overburdened, pouring yourself out way too much. So in this lifetime, with the North Node in Cancer in the first house, your soul is learning to come back to yourself first, to pour into yourself first, to explore what does it mean to be, free, independent, following your own instinct. And so what I'm trying to say here is that if you will try to simply change the place where you work, those issues might not go away. They might follow you, right? Especially social issues. This is also related to your 7th house, Mercury in Capricorn conjunct your South Node. This is where you are asked to learn to stand up for yourself, to use your voice to set boundaries, for example, which those planets in Libra have not yet learned to do. And so you first need to reconnect with yourself. You first need to understand where those patterns are contributing into the way you relate to other people. And then you can move to any other area. Okay, so that would be my suggestion to you. Of course, also the last moment which I want to comment on is that those planets and this potent energy that we have right now in Pisces, it is playing out in your 10th house, okay? And so 10th house is the house of career, social status, reputation, but also about our maturity, about what is duty and responsibility for us? How do we take care of others? And in Pisces, it allows to become softer in this area. It becomes easier to maybe be a little bit more compassionate towards yourself, be a little bit more kinder to yourself, soften down here, and also see how you can change maybe those, let's say, stricter areas within yourself or more responsible areas within yourself, which can positively influence your career, your social status, and pretty much all other relationships in your life. So I'm hoping that that has given you quite a few thoughts. You can always reach out to me and let me know what you think, if that has helped you. And we will be waiting for new inquiries for next month.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Rochelle, I hope that's answered your questions. And obviously, is it Rochelle or Michelle?
Rochelle.
Rochelle, yeah, Rochelle. So I hope that's answered your questions. And for anybody else out there that wants to join, send their details in, and we will do kind of like a 15-minute thing at the end of every show to kind of go deeper into someone's chart as a kind of free giveaway. If you didn't get picked, don't fret. There's always a chance to work with Jeff. Jeff does amazing courses on astrology as well, which I highly recommend. When's your next one that you're doing?
I have filled in the next one, the one that is happening in March, and then the next one will be happening middle of July.
Middle of July, there you go. And in the meantime, if you do want to go and get your evolutionary astrology done as well, how much are sessions with you for evolutionary astrology? Because I got my friends' birthday ones, so they're great birthday gifts. That's what I do recommend. How much are they for somebody to get their chart done?
I do several services. The big picture reading is €145, and it's 2-hour session. It's really going deep in details, talking about your archetypes. It's more like a learning session rather than astrology session, or, combination of both.
It's a deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also work with the solar returns. That is, I need to take a look, but I believe it's around 80 or 90 euro right now on my website.
Amazing. Well, there you go. You can work with Jev in weird and wonderful ways. I do highly recommend Jev, not only because I have her on the show every month, but because I've worked with her in a greater capacity. And I think that they're fabulous things. If you want to go back and check any of the astrology stuff that we've done before, you can go back and check any of the videos. And you can also check out Jev's information below, which will be, hopefully, if the team's done it right, they will post this and it'll have all the details underneath where they can get in touch with you. But it is evolutionwithjev.com.
Correct.
There you go. So Dan, if you're watching, he's one of my team, you can put that at the bottom and make it look fancy. So it runs across the bottom of the screen. If not, we can just have it underneath. Either way, Jev, thank you so much. We will be booking you back in for next month. And anything else that you want to add before you go?
Take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself, of your body, of your nervous system. We will get through it.
We will indeed. Fingers crossed. So stay safe, everyone. I hope you are all good and that we will see you on the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.